Adam Kinzinger, Christian Trump supporters don't understand their own religion. This coming from him of all people. Yeah, so for those that don't know who Adam Kinzinger is, first, he's from Illinois, so there's the biggest red flag. But it was him and Liz Cheney, both of them being rhinos, that were the only Republicans on the sham select committee for January 6th. Yeah. So he was triggered apparently the day after Christmas because of Donald Trump's Truth Social post where Donald Trump said that the swamp should rot in hell, which they should. It's honest. But Adam Kinzinger is not about being honest. So here's what Adam Kinzinger went on a rant to say. I'm going to go out on a not limb here. This man is not a Christian. Kinzinger posted Tuesday in a response to Trump's Truth Social Christmas message in which he told the corrupt members of the swamp to rot in hell. He also went further than that. He went on to say, if you are a Christian who supports him, you don't understand your own religion. Trump is weak, meager, smelly, victimy, belly aching, but he ain't a Christian and he's not God's man. Well, Adam Kinzinger, this coming from you. I don't know what God you follow, but the biblical God is about honesty and being truthful. When have you been truthful? Trump's being truthful. You may not like it because, quite frankly, it bothers him and triggers him because he is part of the swamp. Yes, there they are, the two Republicans on the sham January 6th Select Committee. Look, rhinos are worse than Democrats, although they're Democrats, really. But they're worse people, in my opinion, because I've said for a while, Democrats they'll just be out in your face ugly. Yeah, we'll steal, we'll cheat, we'll do whatever we have to. They're pretty obvious about it. Especially nowadays, they have no problem showing you who they are. But rhinos, on the other hand, they lie from the get-go because they run on a Republican ticket and they're a Democrat. This is how the Democrats, your George Soros types, they infiltrate. Yeah, so then the media, since the media is the bitches for, the swamp, they will get on the news and carry on about how the Republican Party, it's just so they never can come together. No, you can't. Because there's a ton of people in there that say they're Republicans and they're not. They're Democrats. So if there was going to be a huge poster of this is what a rhino looks like, there's only 3 people that you could pick for that poster. There's more rhinos than 3, but I'm saying the top 3 that you would have to pick from is one, him. I would say he'd be the best poster of it. Or John McCain or Mitt Romney, because all 3, and there's way more than just those 3. But they're just obvious liars. They're obvious. And they get in there and their whole role is to divide the party. That's how scummy it is. So I look at them as even worse because they project themselves, like everything he just said about Trump, that's who he is. That I thought he had kind of realized what a complete ass he's been making out of himself, and like it seemed like he had kind of gone silent for a while, but nope. Didn't take long for him to just start, get triggered about something. But this whole thing was made. They made a fool of this country. They made a fool of themselves, and more than that, what they did, they sold him and I think it was Liz Cheney. They even sold autographed copies of the investigations panel's full report for $100. Can you believe that? Talk about sleazy. And then here's another red flag. You can always tell anybody that says they're a Republican that goes on NPR radio. NPR's been around a long time. They're far left. Yeah, they're not going to have any Republican on unless it's a Republican that's going after the Republican Party, which means they're a rhino. They're a Democrat. That's the only Republicans that NPR will have on. Well, he had written a book, and so in October of this year, he was on NPR, and he went, here I'm going to read what his quote is, because NPR asked him about his future in politics, and he said, if you asked me this 6 months ago, I may have kind of hedged and said possibly, but I was exhausted. I'm coming to grips with the toll that it really did take on my family, the death threats, the people threatening to kill my 6-month-old child, which goes to show the depravity in people's hearts. Well, if anybody really did threaten his 6-month-old child, okay, then it was probably one of the rhinos that he hangs out with, or the Democrats, okay? Because clearly in that short video I showed yesterday, where all the Democrat media, CNN, MSNBC, all the politicians talking about wanting to kill Trump, beat him up, just on and on. That rhetoric has gone on for 7 years. So you mean to tell me that they're getting death threats? Bullshit. This is what the media loves to do. That's why he went on NPR to do it, because it's like, oh, this is a Republican saying this. This is a Republican saying that they're getting death threats. So that's how bad the people that support Trump are. That's what a scumbags rhinos are. That they've done this shit for a long time. They have long time. They've been around, and they just are a disease they live in the swamp. Besides that, he's married to John Boehner's former aide, who was also a former aide of Mike Pence. And for those that don't know, yep, John Boehner cashes out, joins corporate lobbying firm that represents China. Yeah, he was speaker, and then he left in 2015. He left politics. He was former House Speaker, joined Squire Patton Boggs after he retired from the House in 2015. The lobbying firm has long represented the Chinese embassy in Washington. Boehner serves as a strategic advisor to clients in the U.S. and abroad and will focus on global business development. Boehner helped lead the effort to grant China most favored trading nation status in the late 1990s. Yeah. So the former aide to Boehner, who also was an aide to Mike Pence, well, that aide and good old Kissinger were married in 2020. Yep, they were married in 2020, and they just are all swamp creatures together. Yeah, the swamp sticks together. So he also has a book out, but you can see here, Trump is like a toddler. This is Kissinger projecting. That's what the Democrats that's what they're known for. Trump is like a toddler. His emotional outbursts should disqualify him from presidency. To them, emotional outbursts means when Trump posts something that's truthful, which all of he's posted is truthful. Just look into it yourself. They're the ones that have the emotional outbursts. They're the ones that get triggered because they know they've been up to no good. And this book, Renegade, I wondered if he named it after maybe somebody he looks up to, like Obama, because Renegade was Obama's, that was his Secret Service name. It's not, I'm sure, because let me just read you the first sentence from what this book is about. Tells you everything you want to know. On January 6, 2021, Donald Trump incited a violent mob to storm the U.S. Capitol in attempts to overturn the presidential election. It was a betrayal of our Constitution and one of the darkest days in recent history. Yet to former Congressman Adam Kinzinger, it was also the culmination of a culture and political rupture he had long seen coming. Constructive criticism from within the Republican Party was no longer enough. It was time to stand up, even if it meant betraying his own party. Well, he's very good at betraying not just his party, but the country as a whole. Yes, he is, because he lies. He lies. But do you see how, and yet this was a New York Times bestseller. Of course it was. That's why he went on NPR. This is what they do. This is what the rhinos do. Yeah, and they make a killing off of all this nightmare. But they leave these seeds that, oh, the Republicans, they're horrible people. They're this, they're that. He betrayed this whole country. And the way he did it was he lied. That whole sham select committee, no wonder they were selling for $100 a pop. The whole investigation. It wasn't an investigation. It's been the same witch hunt that's been going on. And the witch hunt is because these liars are going after a person that they've been threatening to eliminate. These are the dangerous people. We don't handle things with violence. People that support Trump don't go down the violent path. But these people want to make you think that we do when they're the ones that are violent.